Welcome back to License-a-thon 2025, folks. My name is Tempest Mask 1000, and we are about to bring you to a time. Oop,
Don't worry.
A little bit of an echo there.
That was on me.
Sounds good. Oh, good. Let's try that again. Welcome back to License-a-thon 2025, folks. We are bringing you to the final frontier of outer space, and we are about to bring you to a wonderful franchise that makes you ask, do you remember love? And thus, we give you our one and only Mageius with Macross shooting insight, and the winner of the bid war is going to be Shin. So, Mage, take it away, good luck, and have fun. Let's get this show on the road.
Oh, I intend to try. Thanks, Tempest. Before we start, gotta show that I'm using the default settings. This will be on DLC. This game it does have an English version. Added to it being the first game to come out outside of Japan. Essentially, well, before I get started, because I gotta set this up quick. Hold on a minute. There. So y'all get to see me set up our set list for tonight, because this game has a very good audio and very good other things. So we're essentially going to be using our bonuses that they give us for the music, the amazing music from this game and from the franchise. So, our set list for this evening. Essentially, each of the music gives out some bonuses. I will be trying to showcase all of it because I know a lot of people don't know Macross that well. Hold on a minute. I accidentally hit the wrong button there, so we'll have that there.
No worries, yeah.
We'll do that
on the
there.
bright side, I actually, ooh.
And we'll save it like that. So, before we get started, I do have to explain that this run does allow for auto-healing because the developers essentially expect you to play perfectly. So, any death essentially becomes a go back to the beginning of the stage no matter where you were with whatever health you had from the previous stage and whatever level of damage you had from the previous stage. So, if you can imagine in a speedrun setting, that is going to be a pain. So, it's a lot easier to just allow the lowest level. And I might add, the only game's update that the game gave us was to add a stronger version of auto-healing because not many people had beaten it. So anyway, we're gonna start it in a 3, a 2, a 1, let's go! Although the DLC is exclusive to both the console versions because, well, it's exclusive to Japan, so we're playing on one of the console versions. And thank God for having a Switch too, because this is going to help with some of the loads. Anyway, Shin here is the protagonist from Macross Zero, which was basically a prequel done years after the first years after the first actual anime, and essentially tells the story of what led up to the end of the global war before the Zentradi ship fell. Well, crash landed on Earth. No, I have not seen it. I've got a long backlog of stuff, and the entire franchise, excluding the original, which you can still see via Robotech. No, I'm not even going to go into that whole argument there. Is on Hulu if anybody that has it and wants to check it out. This show is very well known for its music. In fact, it has changed pop culture throughout the years on that one. I believe you've at least seen some of the stuff with Macross Tempest. So we're gonna go.
I was gonna say, yeah, I actually have seen a little bit of the Frontier movies, and I know that a idol that I follow is a very huge fan of Veronica Lee. So when I noticed her in you setting up the set list, I was like, oh, a certain someone would love to see that for sure.
We still have to make a decision on whether or not changing the set list is going to matter within the speedrun, because both the story mode and what we're doing arcade, it just changes the actual order to be via letters instead of actually being specific for each character. But because with arcade mode you can change the order, it does affect the bonuses that you get when you get them as far as for each stage, and that can matter on different difficulties because, and especially with different characters because of how each of the characters play out. Wait, did I put it on hard or very hard? I think I left it on hard. This will eat up my time, I know. Yep, I did. Sorry, y'all. Anyway, 3, 2, 1. Just leave it and I'll roll with it. Die! I feel horrible and I feel stupid. This is what happens when you practice another character.
That's all too relatable. I had that moment earlier today.
Yeah, I was practicing Satomi on that one in case he needed to win because Satomi legitimately has less health. So you really do need to practice more of. Don't worry, that just means I eat a little bit of time loss and don't die. Which with Shin being my main for this game is a lot harder to do. Hard to do, yeah. Not hard, still happens, but then again, Shin, as you can see, you have stats for each character. Shin is a little slower, but he gets more health and has the highest damage output. You'd figure with the show that the more that is the most focused on war would probably give you a high damage output character. Although Shin also gets to be, does get to know the legendary Roy Fuoker, aka Skull Leader, aka Skull 1, aka every time I actually see a game reference that one, I laugh my ass off. Because, well, Macross is that beloved that you see lots of references to it in a lot of different pop culture things that you did not even know was probably Macross, or that you thought was, Robotech, aka it could be both. Shoutouts to the fact of them finally working out a deal a few years back. We want to pick up some of those extra gems. We want to align ourselves perfectly in the center of the stage so we don't have to make a so that way we don't have to deal with it slowly moving us to the center of the stage. Anyway, we're going to line up here, line over here, line here, so we can take out these satellites. Think of this game as the, the actual get all fan favorite characters together, just about into doing something amazing. Gonna line up here, dodge here, get up close, anything like that one. I'll burn a assist attack just to do that one. Positive note, well, as you get to see our transforming Veritek, aka, well, Valkyrie. We're in fighter mode. Gonna shift up over here. Move down here. Roll there. Now I'll pop an assist attack to get rid of all the attacks on the screen. The one nice thing about this game is that because it shifts between all different styles of, shmup gameplay, top-down, vertical, and, side-scrolling, of course. The fact that the special attack is based off of what a vertical shmup would be, you can imagine just how much of damage that can do to some things. We're going to dodge here, take that there, and finish off the first boss. Sadly, this is one of the songs it's really hard to get through, like listening to a lot of it, but that's because of how we gotta beat the boss. And as you see, since I was not in the direct center of the screen, it takes a slight second to move me towards the center before it ends the, before it actually lets me end the stage. Just like, think classic Mega Man and Mega Man X1, where you have to walk to the center of the screen, so you want to try to be in the center of the screen as much as possible. And now we're in my bread and butter wheelhouse, aka side-scrolling.
I must say, it almost felt like your choice of words there felt very specific to a certain somebody being in the room with you right now.
Yep. It also just helps to describe it, and it's one of the ways I tend to try to describe it. But I will say, the way I got started with being good at shmups, and I'm still not the best, is side-scrolling. Because, these type of ones, like, you can pick up some skills from, like, this, or, the, Robotech, Macross Saga, game, or just, a lot of them. I'd say side-scrolling is probably the easiest way to pick up, like, some of the skill sets. Because, unlike, Toho and other stuff, no negatives to them, it's just like, I know I'm not going to be able to beat this, in one hit. I've actually got the, they released the original arcade game, on, as part of the Arcade Archives in Japan. That game expects you to, get a 1cc with a, 3 hits, only, and it doesn't give you lives via points. It's via finding them. Yeah, this franchise can be brutal sometimes.
Which is crazy because the series is a beloved one when you consider all the other source materials that the games are based on. That's wild.
It's rare that it's rare that they actually do non-smups on that one. In fact, it's one of the reasons why I like showing off the PS2 game, because it's one of those that's like, it's more like Ace Combat with a transforming mech than no smup. But again, I also love Robotech Battle Cry, but I hate to say it, but the superior version that won that generation, as if you play it on GameCube or Xbox, it just hands down. Like, you get more freedom as far as what you can do with your Valkyrie in the PS2 version. Not only that, but it was also Japanese exclusive. But the fact that you get a lot more movement, but the fact is that the way and the buttons that are mapped for transformation in that game just really does not work out as well, and you really do not want to use the, anything but one of the modes. Plus, also you don't really even have auto targeting without being on a certain mode, without being in Battleoid. Whereas Battle Cry, you do a lot of movement in that one. Anyway, this gives us faster movement, and this would normally be the song for the third stage, but we're choosing this here to make the third stage easier. Gonna here, just like that there. Sometimes you actually do get some free dodge within the game, because although it's a 2D game to some degree, it has 3D elements to it. Gonna do that there. Pop assist attack here. Dodge there. Going to fire over here. Gonna start doing that there. Lower the attack. And this is where the things for a marathon comes in. I'm gonna dodge it and let y'all hear some more of the music. Normally I would not do that one, but this is a... If you can imagine, this just makes it a lot harder. There we go. Gotta give you all that extra little taste of Macross, as the music is a huge piece of it, and I know fans love the series on that one. God. Tempest, if you get a minute, look up how many actual albums they've done for Macross. Pure blown actual albums. At least like 3 or 4.
Let's find out, shall we? Highly recommend. Some of them on some of them are on YouTube. Highly recommend looking them up on that one, because damn, does this series have some amazing music. Yeah, we're already seeing like 4-ish albums when it comes to Frontier, and I'm sure that's only just a fraction of what we're looking at here. But we also even have...
That's not even counting Plus 7, which has got which was the rock version from the 90s. Then you have Delta. And I think it was either Frontier or Delta even had an actual live stage show with the actual voice actresses, I believe, doing, actually singing on that one. In fact,
I believe that, yeah.
Fun fact, do you remember Love which was the second movie, or was it the first? I forget which. Was actually the main song for that one. The voice actress that played Min-Mei actually helped get the song itself, helped her actually break out of into normal pop culture and mainstream. So yes, you can actually thank Macross for VTubers to some degree.
Right. I remember we've talked about that before in the past. It's and also funny you mentioned Do You Remember Love, because literally as you were saying that, I was scrolling down that track list within the Frontier albums, and the one from Macross Frontier Vocal Collection Yan Tama from December 3rd in 08, literally number, what's it, see if I can find it again. It was literally there just a moment ago. Was it disc 2? Yeah, track number 9, disc 2.
Oh, don't worry, you're gonna enjoy one of those things. You get to meet, I think her name is Sunny Apple or something like that. The first AI, it was like AI and human, so you could technically call it the very first VTuber from Macross back in the 90s. From Plus.
There you go. There you go.
So yes, Macross has had a huge impact on a lot of pop culture.
I know that there's also been, so despite what you did mention, how we had Robotech back in the day, starting things off. But at some point a little bit later on, there was an actual dub produced under the Macross name. So we did actually have an English dub of the original Macross. And it's interesting too, because when you listen to some of the voices that were involved in that one, there are some names that might seem a bit familiar. Understandably, I won't go into too much detail about it because it's not necessarily what we're here for. But I could say that I first came to realize that when I was watching a clip montage or comparison between sub, OG dub, and later dub of a certain character's unfortunate demise. And I know we talked about that one during that Macross run that you alluded to, I believe during, was it the GDQ hotfix? Yeah.
It was either that one or it was, God, I've said it on a lot of the stuff like that one, but one thing about Shin is, Shin was basically one of the people that Roy actually recruited to do some of the test piloting. I believe. Again, have not seen Zero. It's on my list, alongside a lot of other anime and a lot of other stuff like that, but again, highly recommend if y'all have Hulu to check it out. Don't ask me for the order, as there's some differences on that one. Anyway, Attack of the Orions here. The Orions being, they're not aliens. Well, they are and they aren't. Who we're killing are not the Orions, but they are, like, they're not drones, but they're not, entirely the Orions. Also, the satellites I've been getting rid of have been making it so that way we get the special bonuses, which is the music, which you do actually want to do because those bonuses, they give bonuses to our craft, sort of actually recreating the fact of how Macross loves to have a lot of their high-intensity space fights with music. So if you ever see that happen in Gundam or other mecha shows, you can thank Macross for that, because Macross has been around since I believe it was 1982. And you can check, whether or not that happened beforehand.
Right. If I recall right, Gundam was in late 70s, so it wasn't that far after, but the impact that Macross had was certainly of its own caliber as compared to Gundam's. Both series had their intents, their ideas, their genres, their messages, basically.
Basically, Macross was more about the civilian side of stuff and how, that can impact some stuff alongside other cultural things. But Gundam, I will say, it does what it does. With Macross, it had the positive note of being one of the things that popularized the transforming mech genre.
Very much so, yeah. This when it comes to transforming mecha, you can't necessarily not think of this.
Macross, Robotech, take your pick. Take your pick. They're all good.
You know what? I would say, though, it is still pretty funny that the whole idea of a transforming robot being pretty popular in media. I mean, you have all the, classics, like Get a Robo, and
don't forget Transformers.
Transformers, yeah. Well, I was blanking on this other one that was particularly Japanese, but I would say, oh hey, that's Minmay, ain't it?
Yep, that's why I moved it to here, because her stage, it takes so long to start up that we're usually done the boss by the time she is starting up singing.
I'll take a pause on this one then, so that we can let the boss do its thing.
Yes, I think the fans want to hear this one. Now, notice I'm dodging slightly on that one there. That is to avoid the entire attacks. If I really wanted to try to multi-target doing a lot of stuff, I could seriously use the right analog stick at the same point to try and fire missiles at the same time, but I am not that coordinated to be able to do twin sticks while holding both hands on a controller. Gonna let the Mei sing. Dodge the attacks. Dodge it all there. Let the enemy get back. And just finish it off with a quick burst to be able to avoid all this other stuff.
Alright, nicely done. We were talking about transforming robots, and the point that I was trying to get at earlier had not necessarily something to do with anime or tokusatsu than anything, but it still was funny how the idea of a transforming robot in a Toku Spider-Man was what essentially inspired the likes of the Megazords in this, or at least their equivalents in the Super Sentai series. Yeah, exactly.
I have to say, I did not know that piece, but I will say one of the most amusing things with all that is, if you want to talk about today's military technology, it would I would actually say the Macross Hirwalk, aka Guardian for the Robotech fans out there, is probably the closest they could come to at present of the let's make it look cool. The reason I say that is because
let's make it look cool.
it's because you have the Harrier jet, and because it has a vertical launch, you could probably adjust that to probably be the closest to it. Gotcha. Since you could technically convert it from a half jet with legs to a full jet, and that's the closest you could get at present with today's military technology, in my opinion.
That's really something now that you mention it.
That's what I said, because the Harrier jet can, lift vertically, you theoretically could have, something like this, hover. That.
Oh, true. Yeah. Now it links to my mind. I was not sure why I was having trouble saying it.
It's cool.
But you know what I should? Of course. But yeah, I know one thing that I certainly won't have trouble saying, and that's for our wonderful viewers. You're watching Licensathon 2025. For those who don't know us, we are an event that is entirely committed to speedruns based on a licensed property. Whether it be based on an anime, manga, cartoon, even a book, or even the most obscure of source materials. So long as it wasn't game first, it's fair game here. With that, we are raising money and proud to be doing so for the Transgender Law Center. And they fight for the rights of all people to live freely and authentically. So your donations will help support programs such as the Border Butterfly Project, which offers humanitarian and legal support to hundreds of LGBTQIA+ asylum seekers at this Southern American border. And thanks again for helping support Licensathon this year, and the Transgender Law Center. We very much appreciate you.
I mean, considering that Maximilian Sterling, one of the main characters from the original, actually, his wife in is actually one of the Zentradi aliens shrunk down, just to show, we care about everybody.
That's true. I think I remember that one. Yeah.
Anyway, we're gonna hug up here on that one there. We're gonna try to save some stuff on that one. Avoid all the attacks. See, this is why we pick, sadly, we won't get to hear the song here. Sad, because it's a real fan favorite. Well, you get to hear the opening of it, but, Dynamite Explosion. One of the songs from Macross Plus. 7. Fun fact! Hey Tempest, did I ever show you the, anime character eating a leaf gif?
That's a good question. Can't say I remember.
Look it up.
Proceed.
Look it up. It is the character from it is actually the main character from Macross 7. No joke. It is the character. is the main character and singer from Macross 7, where they actually fight aliens with the power of music. Because yes, this...
I just found it. Oh my god.
Yep. You can thank Derek for showing me that one.
For those unaware, yes. The character's name is Basara. Feel free to look it up in case you're curious.
However, we don't get to pilot him on this one just because they had to do the whole idol thing, you know, like have the actual idols be part of that one, and him being the idol and the pilot sort of wouldn't work out for them to be able to do that here. But yes, fighting enemies with a guitar, you know, God, I'm trying to... It's not fully coolly levels, but it is still fighting enemies with a giant guitar and a transforming mech. And more people really do need to check out this franchise. I mean, I love Robotech, you know, as much as the next person on that one, and I really do love how they took the individual shows and were able to combine some of them. Considering the way that the shows were named in Japan were Super Dimensions, Macross, Super Dimensions, it was Southern Cross, then Genesis Chamber on that one. That we're all not, you know, linked. However, the first two were two-thirds of like 3 shows that only had the Super Dimension in its title, but were made by the same company, you know, released after each other, and although not related, except for that, they were able to combine it enough to actually make a cohesive generational style story. Robotech. It's why I still say it has its benefits, and it did its own thing, and it literally, you know, is its own, you know, style of thing. Sort of like how Go Lion became Voltron, because it combined itself with a few other things and a few other shows like that from the 80s.
There was also the Vehicle Force, which was, as you said, another show. And, you know, there was also... Funny how that worked out in a way, too, because then both teams had their little crossover film, which I actually watched just for the fun of it.
In all fairness, some of that stuff is because of the fact of how 80s syndications required a certain number of episodes.
Right. This is why Robotech was split to 3 parts. It was one of those ordeals, of course.
Yes.
And for Voltron, well, the movie was mainly just like, you know, this was it was already based on a source material from the original franchise, yes, but at the same time, it was the people that were responsible for licensing it as Voltron that were like, hey, Toei, I think you could help us make some original animation and help us make it so that we can have these 2 teams cross over. And that's exactly how it was.
And here you see me taking my first step of the speedrun. Now, where do you think it puts me back? Also notice how my health is.
I hope that wasn't because I was talking.
Oh no, don't worry about it. It wasn't on you on that one. That was me with bad positioning.
Right.
So it's all good.
But, yeah, as you can see here, it's
That's why my estimate is like 50-some minutes. It's namely because it's to make sure that not only can I let fans listen to some of the music, but also so I can guarantee the fact of taking at least 1 death. Because we try not to have that happen, and worst case, I go faster, and y'all don't get to hear some of this amazing music. But I tried my best on that one. Which is why there's at least a 10-minute difference between my PB and anything in a marathon. Gonna snag that there, move over here, move down here, swap up here. Also, I'm a little bit rusty with the game, but again, Switch 2 and a few other things. Don't know about the rest of you, but checking out a lot of those games has been fun.
I'm very interested to see how the Switch 2 will ultimately pile up, and all things considered, the games that are to come with it. I know some people supposedly have been, like, you know, bringing their Switch 2s back. Some just haven't, like, after all this time now, they feel like the impression wasn't necessarily the best, but I know I'm still very curious about what's to come, especially because we're getting into new Kirby Air Riders, and oh, you have no idea how excited I am for that.
Have you seen Donkey Kong Bonanza?
I still can't believe that the side character is Paul Lee.
Not just that,
Pretty
but the
sure
way that they're doing the music and other stuff like that. Most people, and I am in the agreement of that one, was that is the game they should have launched the Switch with. But it's Donkey Kong, so they didn't think it would probably sell well. And looking at it, it's got a shot at Game of the Year nominations.
Oh, wow. That's
People's viewpoints until Death Stranding 2 was shown off, and came out and reviewed well enough that it's basically, Cloud Obscuro Expedition 33 and Bonanza are the two front runners. That's how fun the game looks like it's going to win, be. And that's pure gameplay, not story. And that is hard nowadays for a game to make it in on just gameplay.
I have to agree. It's not even out yet. What? That's nuts. And it's going to be going against Claire Obscure?
And Death Stranding 2, most likely. It's like,
Good
yeah,
luck.
like, the reason why it looks that good is because gameplay just looks like that's going to be just that type of good game. It just looks like it's going to be that type of a game where it just does, like what you want. Move down there so we avoid the stuff like that there, avoid the actual fires and the giant beams. We're going to loop around, pick up some of the stuff. We're going to loop around this way. Pop the assist attack here. Pop a second assist attack here just to guarantee we don't die. And we're going to finish up this stage.
Alright.
You gotta be annoyed
good
for the
there.
small mistakes, but at the same point, considering how we started this run out with me screwing up on the difficulty, it's better than it could be. I'll take the one death so far, but that's ideally you prefer to not die, but I'll be honest, I've only actually got a 1cc once. That's the current world record for this category, excluding the DLC because it's, not required in any percent. But it's usually my records are one death at most times, sometimes two depending on how, my current, practicing has been, but again, I'm happy to get to show this one off, as the franchise needs more love, and the way the speedrun is, it's meant to be able to let, a lot of people, come in, try out the game, in a sense, learn the basics of it, and heck, we allow, think about it this way, when do you normally hear from a, shmup that actually will, especially in a speedrun sense, that will let you take, something like auto-healing, at the basic levels of that.
I would imagine, yeah.
I mean, trying to actually go fast in this game, it's like literally the developers want you to play fast because things get harder, the longer you play, the worse you do. And that's one thing I do have to say I do love about a lot of the Macross games. It encourages you to play good. It encourages you to go fast. Want to make things not be bad? Then play fast and get, and actually do things optimally. And any game that's play good,
Sorry, go ahead.
Any game that just requires you to just play good and you can enjoy a game and actually get some stuff done. It's it's just a lot. Those are the games I think more people should check out. We're going like this. We're going to fly down here, loop up here, loop over that way, pop an assist attack, then move over this way, avoid the attacks. One piece of advice I can say for anybody that is not good at shmups, leave the attacks off screen. That is the smartest thing I can say. Though, when you can dodge attacks and also how to lead enemies attacks. Because being able to do that really does help you with survival. resistance tag so I can clear out some of the stuff. Also, shoutouts to the amazing soundtrack. Oh. I might add, we're on my favorite track of the game.
Listen, let's let the jam play, shall we?
Yes, it's the jazz one. It's what I like to call dancing with the game. You'll understand in a second. Back there, we're gonna go like this. Might add, this particular version is actually from the live performance version of it. But here, fire that there. Use the missiles to pick off some of the enemies. So I might add, anytime I'm doing that, that is with the second analog stick. So I am actually having to twin stick this for both horizontal, vertical, and everything else.
I was gonna say, I suddenly feel dumb for now recognizing that, yeah, I know this song. This is freaking Ikenai Borderline.
Yep, it was from Macross.
Right, I would know that because earlier I mentioned a idol, well, who's also a VTuber at times, but yeah, she uses the term 2.5D because she does VTubing and live performances. But yeah, I've heard her sing that song. She's a big Macross fan. If I hadn't already made that clear, with her favorite being Ronka Lee. So.
As I said, I like the song. I've let my significant other hear it. Liked it on that one. And it's the one song that gives you a defense buff because you're legitimately having to take out an entire spaceship.
Ikenai Borderline gives you the defense buff. Yeah, you know what? That makes sense.
It's a good song on that one, and the version they give you is from the one of the live albums, I believe. Because again, this has actually had stage shows, and not just one. I think it was like 2 or 3. Which, mind you, it's not the only show, the only anime I can think of that has had stuff like that. I know Prince of Tennis has done it, and I know Sailor Moon has done it. I believe Sailor Moon even had theirs come to the US earlier in the year.
Interesting. I didn't know Prince of Tennis had one, though.
They've had a few.
I was... Well, the thing about me and Prince of Tennis, at least in my sphere of the understanding, is, and this is something that I can chalk up to Sound Cadence, the people that worked on the English dub. That's the one where they had some people from around the world get to dub certain characters, English, also generally fit within the character's background, so on and so forth, if that makes sense.
Yep, it does. But no, the reason why Prince of Tennis is because, honestly, unlike Sailor Moon, where it had, like, you know, a lot of the female characters, I don't mean this negatively sounding, but you got to see, for all of our female fans out there, you got to see hot guys performing, you know, songs on that one. Again, not meant to be mean, just that kind of like...
No.
You know, that, like, hey...
It's one of those things.
Also, here's the only, seen very rarely, fourth style, you know, the, sort of gives you that, Star Fox style. Except we're not moving around the stage, but, like, over-the-shoulder style.
Yeah, this is very Star Fox-like, I feel.
Anyway, we're just gonna loop around, move there, get some stuff there, move there. Try not to take a hit. We're gonna move up there, align ourselves up here, take out one of the satellites, get rid of the jammers. I'll also add, this is by far my favorite boss battle run. So we're just going to avoid some of the attacks. Rotate around. Keep picking up some stuff. I will say this is the hardest boss in the run. Now, it's also my favorite boss battle in there, because we're going to go up here. Must be pretty hard.
Those are some big ones. And we're doing this to the tune of Cheryl and Ronka, no less.
Gonna position here. Do that there. Again, very hard boss. Very, very, very hard boss. Gonna aim down here. Fire that there. Now the one thing that you have, remember what I said about when they gave you a full screen missile attack? Both of those bosses are hitboxes. So, full screen missile attack on a boss that's full screen. Kinda makes it a bit easier of a boss. Also, we have reached the Remembrance Dimension. The DLC stage for Do You Remember Love. However, since I moved the songs around, the song here would be from, actually Macross 0, because it's actually argued as one of the weaker, if not the weakest, musical entry from the franchise. But we're gonna avoid stuff here, and this is also why I choose to do that, because with the second part of the mission being in a, top-down perspective, we really do not get enough actual stuff to give the ability to get the music on that one. So picking, just sadly I picked the weakest track to, grow it here so y'all get to hear Do You Remember Love. So we're gonna slide to the left, slide to the right, slide up here, slide down here, toss a missile here. I might add the Remembrance Dimension as far as where it is referencing and where it is from. Well, I'll keep it a shock, but if y'all know Macross, you'll know where it's from easily enough. Although, ironically, it is not with the boss from it. Missed opportunity there, but we're gonna pop a missile here, do that there, line up here, line over there. Again, this is actually trying to do all this in a free-flowing mode when you still have to deal with some momentum stuff with floaty, stuff in order to actually not only aim but use the right analog stick to be able to keep up an aim. And technically we can hit the enemy stuff out while it is off screen. And now we're at the boss. We're gonna pop an assist attack here. Dodge the attacks. That there. Now the boss will appear behind us, so we're going to essentially... Oh, they'll appear behind us after this, so we're going to essentially pop another assist attack. Sorry, thinking of Phase 3 when I'm still on Phase 2. Now, because we can't turn around and fire at them, what we're going to have to do is use this and then pop some missiles on them. We're going to pop that there and then go like that there. And as I said, because we killed the boss... We'll salute the thing. Sorry. We're seeing my health as the boss's health on that one. Anyway, the part that is referenced from, I believe, is from the final battle from the movie on that one. I know that because of the salute. Anyway, we've reached the stage based off of Macross 0, the alluring planet. That jewel in the solar system, the third planet from the sun, the cradle of life, aka Earth, aka the planet we are all living on, and that we all, really do need to protect. We have reached Earth.
Too true, by the way. That is a sentiment that I wholly agree with.
It is essentially the, I have to say, the one positive thing I will give Macross and Robotech for, the fact, although they do try, to defend it, they are willing to actually try for peace on that one. Eventually they do with peace and Trotty. The fact that when humanity realized they were no longer alone in the in the universe, crap, took a death, but it's alright. It's alright. It's alright. At least it was early in the States, but as I was saying, the fact that humanity, once realizing that, could, instead of trying to dominate, everybody else, they ended a war, essentially, I believe it's like in a single night, to basically be like, look, we need to stop fighting each other and actually protect the world. Protect us as a species. And that, I think, is actually just says something about how optimistic, stuff can be. And how we all hope that if that does happen, that we can all learn to, live together and try to work together. Which is a very, 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 one of those things that you would not think about until something like that would happen. Like, we all hope that if something like that happens, and we suddenly realize we are not alone in the universe, that we would all be able to finally just, set aside stuff and start working together. And we're going to keep going through that one. And since we're in Gear Walk mode, or Guardian mode, take your pick. I'm a fan of saying Guardian over Gear Walk because it just sounds cooler. Anyway, into another side-scrolling section. And you do have to, enjoy just the choir style of things here. We're gonna fly up here, target here. And we're just gonna keep targeting. We're gonna fly around here, target these, and just fly in a sort of horizontal line to basically not only avoid attacks, but also target the enemies and basically not only prevent ourselves from dying, but also getting rid of the enemies along the way. Now, I will add that they do have online leaderboards for the game on that one. I haven't checked it recently, but for the longest time, I actually had the farthest in for very hard mode, starting at the beginning of the game versus just picking stages. That was with no DLC because essentially Roy is kind of Rick is kind of broken. Also, say hi to Sunny Apple. I believe that's her name. You'd have to check Macross Plus on that one. But our resident VTuber. By the way, what's my time looking at?
We're currently sitting at 46 seconds, or minutes. Seconds.
Okay. So I'm going to chill a bit and let y'all listen to the music, because the only thing the boss will do here is fire a giant laser. So technically, if I was going fast, I would be killing this easier. But marathon safety, it's easier to just let it heal up a bit. And also, giant full screen boss with giant full screen attack means basically, you have the ability to just hit it all through. Again, just the sheer amount of breadth of styles of music that the franchise has done. They've gone from, the idol culture to pop song, to love ballads to hard rock. Also, we are now on the last stage, the end game. The game that is exclusive, the stage that is basically exclusive to Macross Shooting Insight. I'm going to say this right now. Tempest, hold on to your seat. Everybody in chat, I would say I'm going to shut up for part of it, but essentially we're getting to the... Well, I don't want to spoil it, but I think you all are going to like this mission.
It's already got a corridor feel to it. The fact that we just entered like some kind of tunnel to what seems to be a base, maybe some kind of supercomputer. Oh, I wonder what this could mean.
Well, I have yet to read the story because I flat out refuse to buy the game again at present, unless it's on sale, because I already said $30 and change getting it, you know, for the Switch version. So, yeah, although again, we also get a medley of musics. So you'll all get to hear 3 pieces of music as we beat the game fast enough so that you don't get to hear the 4th. Essentially, it's like if you play bad enough, you can listen to all of it, but we don't want to do that. So welcome to Dynamite Explosion. Now the thing goes dynamite, dynamite, dynamite explosion. 1, 2, 3. When you get to that one, chat, I want you to belt it out. This was also, I believe, one of the openings for Macross 7. I'll fly out that way. I'm going to be quiet so y'all get to hear the amazing soundtrack here. Dynamite, dynamite, dynamite explosion. Dynamite, dynamite, dynamite explosion. Dynamite, dynamite explosion. Okay, every night, every night. Gonna keep getting some missiles here, there, and everywhere, making sure I don't take damage. Loop up here, fire there, move there, use some missiles there. Load off some of the attacks. Drop some there. Die. Yep. See that one coming. Could see that one coming. Oh, at least it wasn't at the boss. I am at how much time?
50 minutes.
Okay. Gonna be close. I'll probably be maybe 1 minute overestimate. And that's because of a dumb mistake.
Yeah, it happens. But hey,
I'm also a bit rusty on
dynamite
that
explosion. We could do, you know, that does mean even more dynamite explosion theoretically.
Yes. God. Die. Playing like crap on the final mission of the night. Yep. Could see that one coming. Saw that one coming. But you can tell just like how this game sometimes can be relentless even when you make small mistakes. It's also one of the reasons why I try to make sure that players can actually have fun and enjoy the game. I actually highly encourage people, if they're not going to go for scores, play the game, use, you know, the auto-healing a little bit, you know, get good at the game. The only thing that matters if you're doing that is if or not you get your name on a leaderboard, as far as the score attacks go. You want to be able to play with every character, you know, try out different things? Yeah, go with auto attack. No, go with the little auto healing. So we're gonna do that one there. Those there, get that one there. Make sure we get that one there. Roll out of the way. Get that there. Quickly do some flips. Stick here, there, and everywhere. Roll here. I was happy Shin did win because of how well I've been playing right now. Satomi would have not looked good. It's the other reason why they had those wondering why there was a difficulty. It's because Satomi has less health and does not deal as much damage, so the difficulty basically makes up the difference because of a different character. Gonna fire the stuff there. We're gonna line up there, go like that there, aim there, drop down there, lead the attacks. Pop an assist attack there. Dynamite explosion. Dynamite. Dynamite. Dynamite explosion once again. Dynamite. Pop an assist attack here. Game. Up down here. At least I'm technically not in Oko mode anymore. Pop an assist attack here just to play it safe. Gonna go like this. God for the song giving defense. Go like that there, flip there. Gonna do that there. Loop around there. That there. I'll pop an assist attack here. Be safe. Gonna fire that there. Down here, get all the attacks off screen. Quickly do some of those. Take the small time loss for that one. Anyway, here y'all go. Gonna be dancing with the game again. Go like this up here. 3 E's down here. Sorry all if I'm being a little quiet here. Having to concentrate a little bit. Now can I curse? That is just about a 4-minute time loss due to me being stupid. I hate to see it.
That's unfortunate, man.
I know my estimate was for not having that happen. But again, it's a little bit rusty, and dear God. Luckily tomorrow I'll be able to give him at least a nice performance on Tenchi. I've been practicing that one versus this, because that one takes a lot more thinking. And yes, that's saying something about a shmup.
Yeah, fair. But all things considered, how long is this level usually for anyway?
Without deaths, like 5 minutes, give or take.
Gotcha. Then... That's fair.
You also gotta play good to get through it. And I'm also showcasing this on its hardest difficulty.
Of course.
And trying to let y'all listen to some of the music means having to play a bit more, actually, giving y'all just like the, having to play even more, good. playing this bad in ages. Dodge that there, dodge that there. Move down there. Yeah. Fly there. Loop out there. You're playing like crap, you have to do it on that one. Yeah. Here goes some more dynamite. Dynamite explosion, 1, 2, might. I'll pop an assist attack here just so I can guarantee that take damage. Explosion, 1, 2, dynamite. Ah. Okay, every night, every night. Oh. Gonna dodge that there, gonna hit those there, hit that there, hit that there, hit that there. Hit missiles quickly. Not just me doing that, you know, because I can. It is purely to also quickly get missiles out as fast as I can. Because the faster we get rid of those, the faster we get to survive. Also, since I haven't really explained how the scored multipliers work, missiles help give you a multiplier, the score, so give you the score multiplier. Gonna go like that there. Dive down there. Slide out that way. Pull back there. Is that there? Missiles there. Fire there. Avoid that there. Slide down here. Pick up the actual attack increases, which is what those jewels have been collecting. They don't give you health. They give you the ability to keep your attack up. Ah, much better. And here we go. Gonna fly that there. Gonna fly like that down there. This game actually can be brutal if you make a mistake sometimes. But at the same point, it's also one of those games that's very satisfying to just play. Because it's, you know, comes down to how good are you at actually, you know, controlling a character. That's something not a lot of players, you know, think about, as how much it can affect speedrunning. Gonna pop that there. Gonna wait for most of the enemies to go on screen before we pop that there. Ah, good. Gonna loop around here, aim to just hit them all like this. Dodge that one there. Now, I'm not gonna jinx myself just yet. I'm gonna pop this here. Now, this one piece does have one benefit. And let's see, yeah. Okay. Time will be when the screen fades to white, or the final boss. You'll be able to see soon enough. Now, I'm just gonna use that there.
Okay.
And
I gotta say it. Orb!
yeah, I know. Okay. Now, the one nice thing about this boss is the final part here is actually in this type of mode. That's the one nice thing. We can get a full screen attack on the boss, plus the fact that the final song gives us a boost to where if we take damage, we get extra, special, so it really does help out. Also, time. You. Not the best, not the worst. And had an off time on that one. Although, I will say thanks again for letting me showcase this one, even though I did not do well at it. Not my best run, not my worst run, but when you're rusty at a game, like... And for an actual very hard clear of this game, it is very easy. It is a lot harder than it seems, as you all could see with some of my mistakes here and there.
GG's, man. Honestly, great time always with you. And you always have a passion for these mecha games that just getting to sit down and see you clear them, that's always a good feeling. So I'm glad I got this opportunity with you again.
It's all good. Tomorrow's gonna be the real showcase of stuff. I may be good at accent games.
So you say, yeah.
I may be good at accent games, but I am very good at... Well, y'all get to see. Highly recommend coming back for Tenchi. Highly, highly, highly recommend coming back for that one. But if y'all want to follow me, I'm on Twitch at twitch.tv/Mageius1. Haven't really been able to stream lately just because of life on that one, but I'm going to try to stream some more when I can. But, again, thanks for hanging out with me, Tempest. I know we're running a little bit behind, and me causing that one's making it a little worse, so I'm going to say bye, good night all, so y'all can at least try to salvage a little bit of time on that one.
Sounds good, Mage. Well, everybody make sure to follow the man if you want to see more of what he has to offer. Like I said, passion for these games, great stuff.
And I do highly recommend checking out Macross. Just YouTube the music, if anything else.
Yes. All right, friends. We're going to kick it on over very soon to our final run of the night. That'll be G-Force by AD, and I'm very interested to see how this one will go. I hope you all are too, because this game has some very interesting tech to it, believe it or not. So get ready for some schmovement as we keep raising money for the Transgender Law Center. And with that, I'll see you all on the flip side very shortly.